Turn to Hebrews chapter 5, starting with verse 12. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you have need again for someone to teach you the elementary principles of the oracles of God, and you have come to need milk and not solid food. For everyone who partakes only of milk is not accustomed to the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food is for the mature, who because of practice have their senses trained to discern good and evil. I want you to notice the last passage, that those mature in Christ, that have developed the mind of Christ through studying of the Scriptures and feeding on not only the milk but the meat, they have a different thought pattern. It says here, their senses are trained to discern good and evil. And Christ had that discernment. That's one of the reasons, of course, he was executed. Jesus said in the Gospel of John chapter 7, verse 7, regarding the world, which means the world order that existed then and exists now, he said, quote, "It hates me because I testify of it, that its deeds are evil," end of quote. Notice that his senses were trained to discern good and evil, and he didn't keep it to himself. He testified of the evil, and therefore the world deemed him as a criminal, and they got rid of him. Now the rest of the people about him saw the same events going on and didn't perceive it as evil. Why? Because they did not have their senses trained to discern good and evil. I think it's part of the job of a ministry to teach people to have discernment and begin to see and visualize and spot various items. Jesus Christ was a criminal as far as the world system at that time was concerned. Why else do you suppose they executed him? But had he infringed upon anyone's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness? Had he stolen from anyone? Had he harmed anyone? Had he done any damage? No. What was his crime then? If you really analyze it down, his crime was a thought crime. Was it not? He was a criminal because he thought differently than the rest of the world. When you begin to think differently than this world order that is fast trying to consummate its plans for one world government, you are marked out as a criminal. If you're not considered a thought criminal, friends, you better re-examine your Christianity.